Welcome, my good people. It's the Illest Podcast Show, and I'm your host. And I thank you for spending this time with me today. So let's talk about it. I had a recent conversation with a friend who had brought something up about one of my videos, and it was actually the shirt that I chose to wear. So he mentioned to me it was a designer T-shirt, and he mentioned to me that, hey, that is documented fact that this designer didn't intend his clothes for minorities or black folks, if you want to just get specific. And I had a Tommy Hilfiger T-shirt on, and I was like, oh, okay. So here's here's my take on that, because I've heard this since I was since back in the '90s when I was in high school. I'd heard this. It's like once it got popular, it was it was like three or four big ones. It was Polo, it was Hilfiger, it was Nautica. Yeah, those are the three big ones. And pretty much at some point or another, someone came and put this out there. The only thing that was different is that it was one of the different designers. It was either Ralph Lauren with Polo, or it was Nautica, or you know what have you. But yeah, so this has been a long time rumor. And at the time, I guess it triggered me some and made me think a little bit about it, and how I didn't want to support it if that was true. But I kind of uh, I kind of believed it to a point. But it really it really didn't stop me from wearing the designer clothes. It didn't stop me. I just had too much going on to give it much energy at the time. But I would say maybe with a little bit more thought and a little bit more time, maybe I would have chosen not to support such such sentiments. So here we are in 2025, and I am soon to be a 53-year-old male. Here's what I think now. I wouldn't care if that was true. I consider myself a black male who is not triggered or concerned with racism. That may sound crazy or disregarding or unaware to some people, but I assure you that it's not. It's just that I paid attention to a lot of things because of how things have affected me in the past. I've had experiences that have certainly changed that thought, and well, not that thought, but I've had experiences that have definitely bolstered and enriched me in ways that don't have me so concerned with what I believe to be, this dark cloud over my head. You see, I don't believe that there's anything that stops me except me. I believe that anything, any limitations that I have, any barriers that I have, I just feel like they're there because I didn't put enough work in. I feel like I can do anything if I had if I had that motivation in me. I just feel like there would be no stopping me, and that's why it's hard for me at times to not to empathize, because I do understand that we do have there's a system in place that they're trying to put all these addendums and make things right and all that, and they're just still remnants of it. I do understand that, but I choose not to look for I don't look for racism anymore. In the '90s, all the time. But I'm going to tell you, in the '80s, I never did. Well, I'll say like before NWA, I never did, because I never had problem with white people at all, never. And so, and then I wasn't around as many white people. So then as the 90s hit, so I'm 18 years old, I'm around a few more white people, and I still don't feel oppressed in any way. I don't feel like they're above me in any way. And the ones who are kind of, like I had managers at certain jobs, I feel like I could have been a manager too. So I don't know, I just didn't feel that way. I don't, I don't feel that anyone is superior to me. I don't know if that's how a lot of you feel, but I don't feel that way. And I don't really feel oppressed. I feel like oppression was more of the problems that my parents had, that my parents lived through. By the time I was born in 72, things were changing. And so in my lifetime, I can't remember a time anywhere close to what it was like with my parents growing up. So, I don't have this uh, this large value of oppression in my life. At this point in my life, I understand. I feel like it's the energy you put into something. Do I believe sometimes people get preferential treatment due to race? Yeah. But I feel like they also get it due to how they look. And that's, that, what do they call it? Pretty privilege now, due to that, due to gender, through to I'm sorry, due to what else? I don't know, but I'm just saying. My point is that there are many reasons that people are oppressed, and it isn't just race. It's a lot of different things. And how do you? If I sit and stop and try to cure all this shit, my life is going to be as horrible as it was in my 30s, and I'm not going back there for anything, because I don't think that's the type of man that I was meant to be, a miserable man trying to take on the world and fix all the. It's just crazy. I can't do that. And that's why I got sick the way that I did. I understand how I needed better balance, and I have it. And this isn't, believe me, I'm not turning my back on anyone. I feel for a lot of things, and I feel for a lot of people, but there's only so much I feel that I can do. And I do things without mentions, without the camera on, without anything being recorded. I'm always giving back, and I'm going to continue to give back, because I believe the best way to fight this is to not teach hate. And I think that starts at home. And I think a solid home is the base and is the genesis of decimating racism and hate. But unfortunately, I don't believe in my lifetime I'll see any of that. But okay, so that's a big sidebar. But I don't care, getting back to the original idea and the point, I wouldn't care if a designer said that or not, because I'm not triggered by racism. He would have to do something like be in my face and call me a nigger, something like that. Slap me, something like that. Something that will never happen. But I just don't. I don't bend to racism. I don't. Um, I just feel like if you, I don't walk around like that. I walk around with my head up high. And if anyone should be in awe, it should be everyone else, as far as I'm concerned. That's how I feel. That's how good I feel about myself now. I am, I am, I just feel like all things can be had with me, because I'm in a great place. I have a more solid mental base than I ever had before. So things like this are just I'm not going to say it's nonsense, but there's also this. Here's the other part of it. I don't see anything. I never saw anything that gave me um, a definitive answer that these people actually said anything like this. I think it would be ridiculous and very unprofessional in terms of business sense, but uh, I've never seen anything that directly quoted these guys and said that, yeah, this is fact. They said it. I mean, everything I saw, rumor, 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 rumor. So I don't I don't give any of that any energy. But I'd like to know what you think. What say you? Do you feel like, if don't support a certain brand, do you stop patronizing it? I don't, I guess, because I feel like if that's the case, I'm going to stop buying most of the stuff that I buy, period. Because, my tennis shoes, I'm sure there's some sweatshop worker across the water that feels like, hey man, stop buying this. But, you know, so yeah, what say you? Let me know. Like, subscribe, and comment, and make the Illest Podcast a great podcast. Thank you. It's Pete, and I'll see you.